Collage, and I am back for another little making vlog episode where I kind of just run you through what worked, what didn't work, what I'm making, what's on the agenda for February. I love hosting this little challenge called Finish It February in February. So, what I have my sights set on to finish. And just kind of what's been happening with the projects I mentioned in my earlier episode. So I'm going to take you through the first one, which is my Coco hat. So this is by Shiny Superhero. And I really love it. This is my first Intarsia project. So I really did it mainly to learn the technique. And this is a yarn I got from Rhinebeck. I think this is Neighborhood Fiber Co. Silk Mohair, and this is Chelsea Lux, same Silk Mohair. And I love it. It's really cute. It's a little big. I always have trouble with gauge on small needle patterns, and so I didn't even check my gauge on this one. I'm embarrassed to admit. I was just so excited to try out the Intarsia technique, which was not that hard. And I will say there's a gazillion mistakes. My chart was off and I just kind of went with it because I really wanted to learn how to do it. And I'm still really happy with it. And it's nice. I don't end up wearing a lot of hats in our yarns because I am always worried about ruining them. So it's kind of nice to have a hat that's not in my yarn that I can just wear and love. So that is my Coco hat. It is all done. I hope to get some decent pictures of that up in the next few weeks. Okay, so the next thing I was working on, or you might remember, it was the Ursa sweater. So this one is a design by Jacqueline. Her last name starts with C. It's called the Ursa, U-R-S-A. And I was working on it in my Castaway yarn. So I love this yarn. It's so cute. I still haven't ripped it out, but you can see this is how it was looking. And it's really big. And I went for the smallest size because I knew my gauge was off, but it's just too big. And I love this yarn, so I'm going to rip it. And I just haven't gotten there yet. But that was kind of a bummer because I bought this pattern. I was really excited about this pattern. So I decided to try it in Malabrigo Rasta. I have a color called Cucumber that I really like. I had this yarn hanging around, and I busted this out in about a week. So it's cute. It looks cute. I am closer to gauge than on the Castaway version, but I just don't love it. I'm knitting it on an 11, which for this yarn feels too tight and too board-like. And after going down the rabbit hole on Ravelry of other people's patterns that they've knit with Malabrigo Rasta, I was really inspired and found some cute cardigans. So as much as I love this pattern, and I love the way the stitch definition of the half brioche is coming out in this yarn that doesn't, this more of a straight yarn, it doesn't have a lumpy, bumpy texture like ours. I still don't love it, and I want to knit what I'm actually going to wear. So I like this color. I like this yarn a lot. I have enough to make a small sweater. So something is coming. It's just not high on my priority list right now. Okay, so the next one that I finished, or I should say I modified last week, it is my amazing Technicolor sweater. So if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I decided to chop this. It was a dress. Initially, I finished this 2 Februarys ago. So I think February of 2017. No, 2018, sorry. And I really do love it, but it was a dress. It was almost to my knees and it was very heavy. So I chopped it, and I have a whole highlight on Instagram about exactly how I did that. I added a single crochet edge, and it creates this really pretty lettuce leaf edge. At some point, I'm going to go and sew on a little ribbon on the back side to clean up those ends that are hanging out. But it is super cute. It's pretty short, but not too short. And I've just been wearing it a ton. It's a nice, easy throw-on sweater. And I cut off this huge chunk from the bottom, and it actually is enough to be a cowl. So I really love that. And I've been wearing that cowl too, because it is freezing here in Boston area. It's so cold right now. So I love it. And this one, I do have yarn details on my Ravelry page about this, but it's really just stashed and then a bunch of our yarns mixed in. And I love the way it's constructed, of course. Stephen West, his patterns are so fascinating and fun to knit with their construction. So that has been a blast. Now, that's what's going on right now. I think the other project I might have spoken about was my ranunculus that I was hoping to start. And I've kind of put that on the back burner right now because I need to focus on spring. And I got sucked into another project. Has that ever happened to you before? So it is February. It's early February. Every February, I like to host this little thing called Finish It February. It's a challenge where we attempt to finish our projects. So any lingering work in progresses that you have been working on, had on the needles for years, whatever it is, this is the month where I kind of cheerlead you, encourage all of us to really knit and finish our projects together, because I know from personal experience that they can linger for quite a long time. So we have a little Facebook group. It's called the Make It Monthly Challenge, or the Monthly Make It Challenge, and everyone's approved into the group. It's a private group, but everyone's approved in, and it doesn't have to be knitting. It can be crochet, quilting, whatever. And then that's a great place to share. And then also on Instagram. So just with the hashtag #FinishItFeb, I'm going to be cheering people on and really trying to get a few projects completed. So this is what I'm hoping to finish this February. I have a design from our spring knit along. This is the Sunwoven Tank. So cute. I love it. And I never wove in the ends. So it's really it's bad. It's a bad seam in there. And it would probably just take me one night, and it's been almost a year, maybe 9 months. I haven't done it, and I would totally wear this. So that's really embarrassing to admit. I'm going to do it this month. Yeah, I usually am pretty good about ends. I think I just lost my mojo here. So that's something I'm going to finish this month so that I can wear it. Other thing I plan to do and modify is this Free Your Fade I knit also 2 years ago for Finish It February 2 years ago. I love it. It got stuck on a giant piece of Velcro and I ripped a gazillion stitches off. So I just cut it. Just so crazy, I know. But now I feel very bold because of this sweater. So I just cut off the part with the rip stitches, and I actually am happy to, because I didn't like the blue fade that I did earlier. So now it's going to be more like a mauve into an ochre, ivory. And I think it's going to be okay on. Like, I think it's plenty long. Yes, it's going to be good. But I'm just going to add a crochet edge just like I did for this sweater, and maybe add a little more detail because you do have a picot edge bind off here. So some kind of detail, and I think I'm going to like it. Even just looking at it now, I think I'm going to like it a lot more than I did with the blue. And obviously it was like 50 stitches that just some piece of Velcro from one of my kids' clothing got attached to, and it was just terrible. So that I plan to finish this. I probably finish that within a night. Okay, so the next one is a kaleidoscope pullover, which may be part of our spring knit along. I'm not sure yet, but it is the pullover version of the cardigan we did in the fall. There's a lot of ends here, so don't be alarmed, but it's really cute, really, really cute. I added flare to it, so you can see it's flaring out. You wouldn't have to do that if you didn't want to. But I need to decide on the sleeves, and I'm going back and forth about that. So I'm going to try one way, and this month I would like to finish this, weave in the ends. So not a lot of work to do. This is a big needle, but there's a lot of thinking involved, because if it's for our next knit along, I want it to be perfect. So that's that. And then the next is a sweater I got sucked into knitting with some of my friends that I met at Rhinebeck. So this is the Sorel sweater. I think that I'm saying that right. It's by Dank Fiber. I'm going to show you what's happening so far. So this is my swatch. It's going to fade. I'm sorry, the ends aren't really woven in. This is my fade. It's gonna fade, and it's a dip stitch, which I've done that before on a hat of ours. I think the dandelion hat it's called. But this is it so far, and I love it. Like, I don't even want it to fade because the yellow is so good. So this is the sorrel sweater I'm knitting, the 38 size, 38 bust. I've gone down to a size 4 needle, which is it's not my happy place, but I will say it's been really nice to knit, because when I'm doing like kaleidoscope or designing anything for spring, thinking about spring, any new designs in my yarn, I'm really thinking about how we can sell it and how we can create a pattern for it. So to be able to just pick up someone else's pattern and use a cool yarn, in it is really fun, and learning new things is always fun too. So this is a different kind of stitch plus yoke construction and charts, and so I'm learning a lot, and I'm finding it really fun. So this is Chili Knits. I got this yarn. Oh my gosh, it's so bright it doesn't even come up on screen. I got this at VKL in New York, and this one I have the label of, but I'll have to share it later. I got this from the store that West Knits owns in Amsterdam, which Stephen and Penelope, right? Yeah, Stephen and Penelope. So it's an indie dyer, and I'll be sure to link to it later, but loving it. And then this, it's gonna fade. It's gonna fade. It's gonna fade into purple, and we'll see. TBD on that. I'm gonna update the body to be cropped, and I'm gonna attempt a funky sleeve. So like a bell sleeve with a skinny, tight cuff, kind of like the Park and Knit sweater I did, Notorious RBG. I want it to have that kind of sleeve. The pattern's written for a straight sleeve and a pretty long body, like kind of to your butt. And I want to make it a little bit more sexy, fashion-y. So that is kind of like just a fun thing I have going on in the background. I don't think that's going to be too hard for me to finish in February, because like I said, it's nice to have something mindless to do, just mark a row off. And I think once I get through the yoke, it's really just stockinette knitting around. So I think it's going to be really easy for me. So those are my Finish It February projects. The Ursa, I am tabling for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I do want to knit that pattern. I probably need to go on Ravelry and do more research into what Jacqueline knit hers in, and what people say about the yarn for this. I've seen a ton of great options and styles, but sadly the yarns I picked just aren't working. I want it to feel light and loose, more like this. So I think I'm gonna need to pick a lighter weight yarn. And that is it. That is what's going on currently. I'm attempting to really keep up with these every 2 weeks, and I've started a journal where I am keeping a detailed record of my labels. So all the yarn labels, I'm writing notes, what size, the yarn usage, and it's really fun to geek out and be so dorky about it. So I plan to continue sharing that here. And that is it for this week. Please join me for Finish It Feb. I want to give a shout out to my friend Yasmenda. Her Designs by Yasmin earrings are so great. And if you haven't heard her on the podcast yet, I had her on the audio podcast a few weeks ago. So you can find that Collage Creative wherever you listen to podcasts. Maybe I'll show you this thing really quick while I'm at it. Oh, let's see. Okay, this shawl I got at a thrift store in Ohio when I was doing the TNNA, when I used to do the TNNA shows. And it's like a 70s embroidered shawl. I can't tell you how happy it makes me. It's absolutely perfect. I never wear it. It probably needs to be like, I don't know what it needs to be, but it's so awesome. I should wear it way more. That said, maybe I will. But I absolutely adore this embroidery. Isn't it incredible? Anyway, so that is that. I think that is everything on my to knit list for February. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited to get knitting all these projects, and it's so much fun for me to share these by video with you guys. So I really plan to be a little more regular about it. All right, thanks so much. Bye.